Welcome back to the channel. Harley Quinn here, leader of Tears of Angels in Region 293 with another video from the mobile game Doomsday Last Survivors. Now, before we get into it, don't forget to like, sub and turn on that bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. Now, let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing Cedric in yet another Hero Series guide. Now, after my last video just discussing heroes, I did get a bit of feedback in terms of skills, which ones to focus, so we will be adapting and moving ahead. So thank you very much for your input, guys. As I have said in all my videos, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, hit me up in game. I want to do better content, so please let me know. So without further ado, let's jump in. So Cedric, I have managed to awaken as well as level 3 gun. I managed to get second place again in TC in the second week. The first week was a bit of an upset. If you have not seen that, check out that link below. I competed in the first week for him. Check that out. So Cedric is a siege hero and isn't really useful in the field until we transcend him, and we will get to that in a second. So let's have a little overview of him. So to begin with, his Sinful Gentleman is his weapon. You recover 10 rage when performing basic attacks at level 3. So at level 4 weapon is 15 rage. When your remaining squad size is 30% or less, your skill damage is increased by 20% and restores 10 extra rage recovery with each basic attack. So at level 4 weapon, you get 25 rage per basic attack and an increase of 20% skill damage, which is pretty wild. So his rages should be popping off like mad. Skills. Your first skill is your rage skill. At level 5, you can look on and see the levels down below. So at level 5, you deal direct damage to the target for 14k damage. When not garrisoned, deals an additional damage to the target and 2 other targets around self for 2500. So that brings this total up to 16.5k damage when in rally or in the field. Okay, not in garrison is the main thing there. So you can get this skill to activate in the field and in rallies. Moving on to Shadow in the Fog, which is number 2. You increased ranged squad defense by 30%. During rallies, increases ranged squad damage by 10%. So in rallies, you get both benefits. In garrison, you can get the increased squad defense. On the field, you only get the squad defense. So you are losing half of this when not in rallies, when he's not transcended. Number 3 is the Night Assassin. Now this one is funky. I'll explain that in a second. You increase your ranged squad attack by 30%. During rallies, counterattacks have a 30% chance to deal damage to squads in the field for 2000 damage. This effect can be triggered up to 1 time every 3 seconds. So you get increase squad attack by 30%, rallies, garrison, and field. You only get this counterattack effect while in rallies. Now, I've been talking to a few people. A few people have messaged me in regards to this. This skill is not popping up in your battle reports. Now, I don't know if it's a bug or if it's underlining damage, but in the battle reports, I cannot find this damage activating anywhere. Which, in a 30% chance to activate, that should be roughly 1 every 3 seconds going off, right? At least, with a 3-second cooldown. But no. If you are dealing this damage to squads and the I don't know, it should pop up. So let me know if you can find that, or if you have found that. I would love to know. I cannot find this damage popping up anywhere. And let me know if you're in a similar field as well. Number 4 is Perfect Attire. You increase your squad HP by 30%. It also reduces skill damage taken from garrison squads by 12%. So again, you only get the HP when you are rally, field, and garrison. You only get this reduced skill damage taken while you are rallying. His awakening ability is Bloody Storm, which you reduce current target's skill damage by 3% and HP by 4% when Cedric uses his rage, and this can stack 3 times and it lasts for 30 seconds. Which brings you up to 12% skill damage. Sorry, 9% skill damage and 12% HP, which is pretty good debuff when facing a garrison, but this buff applies in the field, garrison, and rally. Okay. Now, in terms of leveling them up, on this screen, I'll pop little letters down here to show you which ones I would go in order. Now, someone mentioned that 551 is where most players will get it, and that's true. 551 is halfway in the Awakening Heroes. If you do not know how many frags it takes to awaken heroes, I have a video explaining everything about heroes in terms of leveling in a previous video. 680, which is a lot. Throw in another 550 to Transcend, and you're looking at a lot of moolah. So, number one skill, your rage skill, is always the first one you want to take to level 5. Always. There is no reason you should be leveling anything else. Always your rage skill. In terms of, now if you're using him for rallies, okay, we're going to be using this for rallies. You will be leveling up number 2 next. You get the increased squad defense and range squad damage. And then you'll be leveling up number 4 next, which is HP and reduced skill damage. Now this is if you're leveling them up only to 551 or in this order. It probably, if you're a bit slower to leveling up and you're not going to quite get it up there as fast, level up 2 and 3 evenly. So take him to level 5 first, and then 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Level them up evenly, because the skill damage reduction as well as the damage is very, very nice. Leaving this one for last, because the counterattacks is just, it's not great, and with the fact that I'm not sure if it is actually proccing, it's probably the least effective skill out of all of them. However, the 30 attack is very nice. If you're using him for field, I would level up this one first, because it's 30% attack. Then the defense. So I'd go 1, 2, 3, and 4 if you're using him for field. However, don't use him in the field unless he is transcended. Now let's talk about that. Now I keep saying transcended, field. I'll explain that. Skill number 1. We know the damage. It's 14 plus 2500. It goes up to 15,300 when not garrisoned and deals additional damage to the target and 2 others for 3,000. If additional damage only hits 1 target, it increases to 5,000. So this is saying you have 15,300 damage to the target. It can go up to 18,300 if there's people around you, or it can go all the way up to 20,300. So if you're in a one-on-one battle, he is going to shine. So when you are rallying and there's no squads nearby and it's just a one-on-one, he is really going to step up. Now this doesn't apply when garrisoned, okay? So rally and field only. Number 2, its base is 30% defense, and then during rallies increases this, whereas when it's transcended, you get ranged squad defense up to 35, so a 5% boost, and ranged squad damage to 12%. So it removes the rally restriction. So he can now be used in rally, field, and garrison, which is huge. Okay. Number 3 increases your... So squad attack was 30, it goes up to 35%. During rallies, counterattacks have a 30% chance to proc this effect. Has 30% chance to proc the effect, and it's only an increase of 500 damage. So this skill gets a 5% squad attack boost and 500 damage. Probably the worst skill out of all of them, and I would level this one up last, as it still has a rally restriction. Number 4, base value is HP 30, reduction of skill damage is 12. Increased range squad HP by 35% when not garrisoned, reduces squad skill damage taken by 15. So this allows you to use him in rallies and field. However, it does still block you from garrison, which is good. If that removed the garrison as well, this would just be too overpowered. However, I still see him being used in garrison. And I will test that out. At a later date, I will test him out in garrison just for some giggles and see how he goes. So an increase of 5% HP and 3% skill damage reduction. Or skill damage taken, I should say. His Transcended skill was 3% and 4% for HP, stacking 3 times. It jumps up to 4% and 6%. If target has reached the stack limit, you then deal additional 1,500 damage. So if it goes up to the stack limit of 12% skill damage and 18 HP, you then start dealing extra damage, which is nice. So as long as you're doing 3 skills within 30 seconds, which you really are, you're going to have a constant uptime on this skill, constantly damaging. So the longer your rally goes, the more damage you deal, which this effect plays in the field as well. So transcending, level him up first. I would then highly suggest leveling this one up second, because you can use him in the field, which opens up more squad potential. I would then use this one third, this is rallies, and this one then 4th and last. However, if you're using him solely for field and you're not a rally leader, you really shouldn't have gone this hero, personally. But I would go 1, 2, 3, and 4 if you're using him in the field. Talent-wise, this is my talent build for him as a siege or even field. Maxed blue tree with extra squad attack there, and skill damage plus ranged squad up here. This is, I'll just take that back to the middle so you can take a screenshot and compare to yours. Now, in terms of pairing him, we're going to be using him in rally. For now, I've seen some pretty good reports from him and Bard. Ethan is a bit of a one-trick pony at the moment. I definitely foresee him being used with Ethan as well. In terms of, I don't really foresee him being used with anyone else. However, we'll take away the fact that they are the S-Class heroes, and let's talk about our non-S-Class heroes. Him and Sophie will be an amazing combination. Probably leading with Sophie and him as support, as she still has the same talent tree as him. I've got it slightly built different on her. Just that smaller rage activation from her, making the skill damage with her skill damage reduction, or increasing the skill damage here from her proccing it first and then him hitting second, is definitely beneficial for her to lead. Spectre, provided you're in a chance to not land first. If you're able to land second with Cedric and Spectre, I can foresee that becoming a pretty good trade. You get her flank tactic, her flank skill popping off as well, which is 15-5 once awakened, plus his 20k once he's transcended. You're dealing 35k damage, almost 36k damage just from skill damage alone. Plus her debuffs are very, very nice. You can run Julia probably with him for a silence. Not as ideal. Sophie and Spectre would probably be better. You could run Lynn with him for a bit tankiness. Again, not ideal. And if you did have the Joker leveled up and you were going up against a healing garrison, chuck him in there. But again, he's a TC hero. I was trying to avoid from TC heroes. His healing debuff is still unparalleled, but no one really uses healing garrisons in your high zones. However, I was brought to the attention that I have neglected Fearless and Budding Warzone. Now, disclaimer, I will be honest, I've been an elite for over a year now. I don't even know what Budding Zone is or how it's... I'm fairly certain it's only for like the first 100 days of a new region. So it is for the new players to learn how to play. However, its relevance in the grand scheme of the game it's a very small window you get to play in that. So that one I definitely foresee really using any type of heroes you have, you'll get some kind of good outcome. Joker will definitely be useful because people will use healing combinations like Thunder and Tom in your Fearless, as well as probably in the Budding. So he will be quite useful. But those are my recommendations to run him with. In the field, maybe with Spectre. But Spectre wants to be running around a bit. Honestly, I probably won't be running him in the field. He just loses too much. Yeah, he just loses a bit too much, I think. But I'll have a play with it, and I'll let you guys know with how that does go. So that is Cedric, the Phantom of the Capital explained. Now, if you do like this content, please let me know. I am slowly getting around to all the heroes. In the comments, let me know who you want to see next. I am showing a bit of love to my Rangers as I am a Ranger player. However, I am more than happy to delve down the lines of the other troop types, which I will be doing as well. Cedric got in the door because he is the newest hero, and I thought I'd get on that bandwagon. If you've liked this, drop us a like. If you're not subbed, please give us a sub. We're slowly on our climb to 1,000 subs. It'd be really cool to get there. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Harley out.